Peter, you've written some fascinating books on the wisdom in Shakespeare, and you also hold seminars on this topic. Can you tell me more about that?
Oh yes, wisdom Shakespeare, wisdom in Shakespeare really is so exciting, and it's worth both reading and going to see a play. You need both really. Well, Gemini effect,
yes.
just something thought about that. But one does need to see it, actually act it, but it's also, you need to read it as well to get more out of it. And the plays contain the wisdom, or at least a lot of them do.
And what is this wisdom?
It's what is this wisdom? Yeah, it is, the ultimate wisdom is love, but how does that work out? How do we work it out in our lives? Well, the plays, particularly the comedies, try to show this. Because Bacon and his group, and the whole mystery school he was in, had quite a knowledge about the wisdom, how it works in our lives. How do we get to that point of real love, and what does it produce in us when we're in a loving state? So the comedies show this very clearly, because all the characters in the comedies are mostly coming from a position of love.
Yes.
Obviously there's the antagonists as well to set things off. But basically they're always about lovers of some sort, and they're trying to make a love relationship, and it may be difficult to do that or not. There's usually confusion and so on.
Yes.
But always the opposites come in, the Gemini thing of lover and beloved and so on.
And it has to be resolved.
It has to be resolved. And the way we resolve this is quite normal. We go through life process all the time. We repeat it over and over again. We all do. We have an impulse, sets it off. It goes into a desire, I want something, which is also an emotion, emotion, the movement out of, as an energy. And that gives rise to thinking about what do I want?
Yes.
And you work out, right, that's how I'm going to get it, and you go and do it. And the result might be good or disastrous. And then you have a moment to think about it. Well, how was it good? Do I learn from this or not? Hopefully you learn a bit, and then the next time it happens, you do a bit better. Well, if you're under initiation, you get to that point where you start off with a desire that is loving. Loving desire. And then you go into what in mystery schools was called initiation. You initiate yourself, you enter into, that's what initiation means, you enter into the mystery of life, which is about love. And so you make your desires loving ones. And that leads to thinking, which is actually an understanding of that love. Because your will, your desire is your will. That's become a loving one. And so you're starting to understand something of wisdom then, because love is wisdom. And then it gives rise to an action that is a loving action, which is the same as charity. Or service, service to others, service to the one you love, in some sort of way. That's known as the 3 degrees of initiation: learning to love, learning to understand, learning to serve. And then, when that ends, you have a time to reflect on it, to remember it, give thanks for each part of the process, and you gain some illumination from it, because you know something of truth, because you've experienced it. And that lights us up. So it's called illumination, lights up the mind. It gives us joy, it's a sense of joy. And we never lose that. It's the candle, burning candle, some example of that. Once you've got the flame burning, it produces light. And that light goes out far beyond the flame. The flame is limited. The flame and the candles are limited. That's the mortal part. Always burning, always dying. That's the way. But the light, once it's generated, is immortal. It goes out, shines across the universe. It doesn't stop. So you've got, the mortal process of life, of initiation, produces light that is immortal. So you've got the mortal and immortal
coming in again.
In again. Well, this is used very much in the comedies. There's an initiatory process, and they end up with something very good at the end. There's always marriages. There's always a celebration. Joy at the end. In the tragedies, it's the opposite takes place. Most of the characters involved do not do good things. Their will is very selfish will, or they just don't think clearly about things.
Yeah, so
get muddled.
the impulse behind the decisions they take or the choices they make are never good.
And so instead of evolving upwards into
Mm.
light, they descend into the dark, really, as a result. So they go down, what an alchemy calls, they go down from the mundane level into the gross level.
Yes.
Where in initiation you go from the mundane level to the virtuous level.
Yes.
And above the virtues you get the exalted level, an even higher state of consciousness and being.
So what Shakespeare or Bacon is showing us is that the choices we make will, either take us up or take us down.
Yes, that's right.
So it comes back to good intent.
Very powerfully. And he shows us all the different types of ways that this happens in life. It's really so remarkable. And the other thing about Shakespeare productions, sometimes they're produced well, sometimes they're not well. But you can learn from whether they're done well or done not well. Because if they're not done well, you have a group of people say, well, what do you think the director and the actors didn't get right about it?
Yes.
And that brings out...
So there's learning even in that.
Learning in that.
Yes.
And if it's done well, you get extra inspirations from it, extra understanding and knowledge from it. It's a fantastic process.
It is. So this is one of the ways in which, the plays 400 years on still are so alive, and it's because there are these deep truths embedded within them.
Absolutely, Sarah. Yes,
fantastic. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.